What you see here is a final version of my setup for this low-cost water cooling build. Let me give you a few comments on the last moment hardies I have to overcome. So first comment will be about the tubing. As you see, the type of tubing I'm using here is a 3/8 inch tube. Why I decided to go with a smaller tube is because this is quite a small case, quite cluttered. When I tried to use a 1/2 inch tubing, it was difficult to bend, and it's look too fat, to be honest with you, for the amount of space which is available. The difference in performance is quite minimal, so it's not that critical to go with a bigger tubing, so it's not a problem. I decided to go with a silver tube, and if I will use the UV lighting, that will glow with blue, which matches standard Antec fans that included with the case, so that should look good. So next part, let's look on more details for the mounting of the bracket. Let me explain what I did. As I promised last time, on the back I just fix it with this single bolt and nut going through this slot filler, which has already holes drilled in. On the side I use slightly different technique. As you can see, the case has those metal parts which is carved out to prevent side panel from extra vibration. So I just pushed one of those piece of metal through, and I simply put it through the bracket. I bend in such way that just get in a hole in the bracket. So it's holes in two positions, and also it will be much easier to remove the bracket if I would, let's say, I need to remove a video card. You see that assembly of the pump and reservoir on the way of video card removal. So I just need to unscrew one single place, and I can easily move pump on the side and take card out if I would need to. So let's look on the piping routing now. I have a little bit problem with radiator, and let me explain why. Let's look at the area where radiator is located from inside of the case, and what is our point of interest right now is this part of the radiator when your connectors need to be attached, fittings. So my initial inclination tried to use usual barbs, which is straight, and this would be cheapest option. I can buy for $20 like pack of 10, and pretty much to cover all I need for this build. And here's the problem. We have a big spool of cables here from the motherboard, video card, SATA cables, everything. So it's a very busy area which is full of those wires. If I have a straight connector here, I have to put my tubings through this area somehow, and it didn't look good, to be honest with you. It's too cluttered, and tube was squished and bent, and that's not what we want to do, because it restricts the flow and it reduces our performance. Also, it's a danger of kinking. If tube will kink, it will kill the flow completely and might damage our CPU. That's definitely not worth it. Saving like couple bucks here. So what I decided to do is try to remove my tubing somehow away from this cluttered area, and the solution is 45-degree rotary compression fitting. So you see, it's nicely removed this tube away from this cluttered area, and it's naturally went pretty good right into the pump outlet. So my water will going through from the pump going to the radiator this way. So that's left me the only option, that other connector has to go to CPU, because we're only cooling CPU in this build. So straight connector works pretty good here, and no need to do any angling, and the tubing goes just straight to the CPU area like this, right? So no problems. Here I might use a straight connector, straight compression fitting, or barb if you will, but I need to make a tube longer so I can compensate for the bend. right? So if you use again 45-degree rotary, it's much easier. It looks much nicer from the distance, as you can see. And that's I decided just to go. So one side is a straight compression fitting, other side is a rotary. It was about CPU water block. The good part about EK Supreme LT is that it doesn't care where inlet, where outlet. You can't make mistake here. So you just do whatever works better for your layout. In my case, I connected inlet on the top of the block, and water will go in here and with help of gravity go down and exit from the bottom of the block. Okay, so for my purpose, I wanted to have a shorter run. Again, I use a 45-degree rotary here, and that's allowing me to have a relatively short and slightly bent tube, which goes straight to the reservoir and fill a reservoir here. Okay, so that will complete our loop, because let's look how it looks here. So from the pump we're going to the radiator, from the radiator we're going to CPU, from CPU back to reservoir, which fills pump directly. So the only part which is not addressed is how we will fill this area of reservoir, which I will use for filling. You can see I use two parts, another male-to-male connector to connect fill port, which is on top, these two parts, to the reservoir. So when I need to fill my loop, I will unscrew the top part and just put a tubing here and fill it. And for that I will show you a separate video. We'll do it together the first time and we'll see what's going on, and if you have any problems with flooding.